Okay, good evening, namaskar to everybody. Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Namo Namaha.
No, Namaha. Okay, it's a great pleasure to have you all here. Join us in this 5-day webinar. I am Dr. Srinivasa Malladi, and we have initiated Soham Inner Development last year. The emphasis is on personal well-being. I'm a psychiatrist by profession, and we bring in the abundant knowledge that we have from our ancient wisdom, spirituality, as well as scriptural knowledge for betterment of our own lives as humans and society. I would mute you all and kindly keep yourself muted so that there's not much of disturbance. Please allow me to mute you. All right, okay. So as part of our webinars that we have been doing so far, more recently we have been conducting webinars on Sanatana Dharma, mainly on an introductory basis. We have Seshagiri Mahodaya joining us to conduct this webinar on introduction of Visishta Advaita for the first time. So I'll give a brief introduction of Seshagiri, whom I have known for quite a few years while I was living in Singapore then, and now I live in India. Seshagiri and me have been students of Sanskritam through Samskrita Bharati organization. And we have conducted a few Dashadina Shibirams of Sanskritam, in which he helped me with organizing the segments such as introduction of Jyotishya Shastra and also introduction to Vedic mathematics. And he is a very good student and extremely energetic teacher as well. It's always a delight to have him in sessions like this. I'm sure for all of us, this is webinars are a new thing, and let us participate in an interactive way as much as possible. For that to happen, I would like to set a few ground rules, which is one, to mute yourself all the time. Please use the raise hand button in case you have any thing you want to ask. And we will leave definitely some amount of time at the end for question and answers. The other thing is that I think some of the participants already have very good knowledge of Visishta Advaita, unlike me. And there are also a segment of us who are new to Visishta Advaita. So it will be helpful if I have already kind of discussed with Seshagiri about this, that it will be pitched for a new learner so that the ones who need to learn are given ample time to understand and absorb the information. So I would really request those learned participants to kindly be allowing us to do a slow process of teaching and interacting with everybody here. All right. So with that, I'll just give a very brief introduction of Seshagiri, which I completely forgot about. All right. So Seshagiri was born and brought up in Bangalore with a modern outlook of ideas. Currently, Seshagiri is working in Singapore in oil and gas sector as instrumentation engineer at an MNC. He got introduced to Sanatana Dharma at a very early age, as his family members were associated with Sri Vaishnavism. In between, he tried few hands at Advaita school of thought through Ramakrishna Mission, and ISKCON as well before eventually landing back to Visishta Advaita. So without any more delay, I would hand over to Seshagiri Mahodaya. I will unmute him and I will go myself mute. And he has a set of slides to share. And let me just ask him, Seshagiri Mahodaya, do you have anything to add? Please unmute yourself and perhaps you can just say, I'll hand over to you. Over to you from here on. Thank you.
Thank you, Swami. Thank you. Thank you. Let me share the screen. I hope all of you can see the PPT which is presented there. If not, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll assume all is well.
Yes, it's visible.
Thank you. Once again, somebody is entering now. Okay. Yeah. श्रीमदात्रेयनाथार्यान् गुरुनः परमान् गुरुन् श्रीरामप्रमुखानन्दे श्रीमद्रामानुजमुनिं नौमि लक्ष्मणयोगीन्द्र पादसेवेकदारकं श्रीरामं कृतनाथार्यं श्रीभाष्यां प्रसागरं श्रीभाष्याकार शिष्याय श्रीमदात्रेयगोत्रिणे श्रीरामयज्ञगुरुवे मङ्गलं तुङ्गवर्चसे श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्य कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदाहृदि गुरुभ्यः तत्गुरुभ्यश्च नमो वाकमदीमहे वृणीमः च तत्राद्यो दम्पती जगदाम्पति स्वशेषभूतेन मया स्प्रियैः सर्वप्रसिद्धैः विधातुं प्रीतमात्मानं श्रीमान् प्रकृते स्वयं शुक्लां विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये यस्य द्विरदवक्त्राद्याः पारिषद्याः परशतं विघ्नं निघ्नन्ति सततं विश्वक्सेनं तमाश्रये ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवमुपमास्महे. Welcome you all for this session. It's just an introduction for Visishta Advaita. We are not going to the depths of Visishta Advaita in this particular topic unless the questionnaire asks for it. That is the mode of the presentation. It's a 5-day presentation. What we are going to learn in each day will be presented as an acquaintance will be given in the first few slides. So today there is one thing which has to be done with a group. It's basically a one shloka recitation. Just one shloka has to be recited by all of us. Let us do it together. Once I will recite it, and perhaps one of you, maybe Pani, if you are online, you can unmute yourself the second time and read it along with me twice after me. I'll read it first, the shloka. Akhila bhuvana janma stema bhangadi lile vinida vivita bhuta vrata rakshaika dikshe Shruti Sarasi Vidipte Brahmani Srinivase Bhavatu Mama Parasmin Shemushi Bhakti Rupa. This is actually the introductory verse of Sri Bhashya from Swami Ramanuja. Pani, can you unmute yourself?
Yeah.
Repeat after me twice. Akila Bhuvana Janma Stema Bhangadi Lile.
Akhila Bhuvana.
Once again, all of you, if possible, please recite with your mics muted. Yes, Pani.
Akhila Bhuvana Janma Sthema Bhangadi Lile. Bhuvana Janma Sthema Bhangadi Lile.
Vinata Vividha Bhuta Vrata Rakshaika Dikshe.
Vinata Vividha Bhuta Vrata Rakshaika Dikshe. Vinata Vividha Bhuta Vrata Rakshaika Dikshe.
Shruti Sirasi Vidhipte.
Shruti Sirasi Vidipte. Shruti Sirasi Vidipte.
Brahmani Srinivase.
Brahmani Srinivase.
Bhavatu Mama Parasmin Shemushi Bhakti Rupa.
Bhavatu Mama Parasmin Shemushi Bhakti Rupa. Bhavatu Mama Parasmin Shemushi Bhakti Rupa.
Thank you. Thank you. This particular verse is basically an Ashi kind of introductory verse. So what it means is, may my mind be filled with devotional knowledge towards the Supreme Brahman, who has the vratam or vow, singular vow, to protect all the bhutas, all the beings. And the Supreme Brahman is also the creator, Janma, Stema, the maintainer, and Bhanga means the destroyer or destructor of all the universes. And he does it as a play, Leela. Akila Bhuvana Janma Stema Bangadi Leela, just as a Leela, as a sport, as a game. And this Brahman is what is Vidyamana, or is what is being expressed in the Shruti Siras. Shruti Siras means Vedanta part. And he is none other than the Brahman who is known as Srinivasa, who has Sri as his, who has given Sri an abode in his chest. That Srinivasa is the Brahman. Let my mind be always dwelling in the devotional service of him. That is what is this particular shloka. Let me get it directly into the subject today. Before that, there is an invocation song by Nirdesh. Nirdesh, please take over.
Seshagiri Mahodaya, you can use the slideshow option, so it will be a full screen.
Astu.
Yeah, thank you.
सीतं मायं सीतं मायं सीतं मायं सीतं मायं सीतं मायं श्रीरामुडो मादन्ति सीतं मायं श्रीरामुडो मादन्ति सीतं मायं वातात्मज सौमीति मैनदेयरिपुमर्दन वातात्मज सौमित्रि मैनदेयरिपुमर्दन वातात्मज सौमित्रि मैनदेयरिपुमर्दन वातात्मज सौमित्रि मैनदेयरिपुमर्दन दात वरदादूलो सोदरूलो माकु मनसा दात वरदादूलो सोदरूलो माकु मनसा सीतं मायं श्रीरामुडो मादन्ति सीतं मायं परमेश वशिष्ठ परा शरनारद सौनक सुख परमेश वशिष्ठ परा शरनारद सौनक शुक सुरपति गौतम तंबो रघुवसन कादुलु सुरपति गौतम लंबो रघुवसन कादुलु करनि जवाग्रवदाग्रे सरुलेवनो वारिल्लनु धरणि जवाग्रवदाग्रे ಸರುಳೆವನು ವಾರೆಲ್ಲನು ಧರಣಿ ಜಬಾಗ್ರವದಾಗೆ ಸರುಳೆವನು ವಾರೆಲ್ಲನು ಧರಣಿ ಜಬಾಗ್ರವದಾಗೆ ಸರುಳೆವನು ವಾರೆಲ್ಲನು ಪರತ್ಯಾಗರಾಜುನಿಗೆ ಪರಮವಾದ ಉಳು ಮನಸ ಪರತ್ಯಾಗರಾಜುನಿಗೆ ಪರಮವಾದ ಉಳು ಮನಸ ಸೀತಮ್ಮ ಮಾಯಮ್ಮ ಶ್ರೀರಾಮುಡು ಮಾತಂದೆ ಸೀತಮ್ಮ ಮಾಯಮ್ಮ
Thank you, Brazil, for the wonderful song. Yeah. Pani, you want to say something? Pani? Pani?
Namaste, Mode.
Yes, you wanted to say something. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to thank Manikandan sir for coming to this session. Sir, many words from your side, we'll be happy to hear from you. He is a musician, vocalist. He is a professor in Delhi University, and I met him 2 years back. He's a very dedicated person. He is in our session. I'm very happy to see him here. Sir, please say something about this. That's it.
Good evening, Fani and Sri Seshagiri and all other initiators to this attempt. It's a very good attempt, and we all very much interested to know much about Sri Annamacharya, Sri and Ramanujacharya, and much about the Visishta Advaita preached by him. And along with this, all kind of preachings which Ramanujacharya has given, if it has been for long years, it has been given to the next generation. And by this attempt, if it could be transformed to the next generation, that will be a nice thinking and a very nice attempt also. I thank all of you once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Manikandan sir. Thanks for your presence. For today's topic, what we are going to cover is how do we know something? It is not directly dealing with Visishta Advaita in the beginning. How do we know anything for that matter? And what are the different ways of knowing? And then what are the limitations of those kind of knowing? And what is the basis of Visishta Advaita? And some unique selling points of Visishta Advaita, USPs, so-called. That is how we are going to see. Anytime if you have any doubts, please raise them. I know there are many dignitaries here, like Anand Mahodaya, Manikandan sir. If I cannot answer, of course they can pitch in and answer. Thank you. This is called Triputi. The way we know anything is basically there should be one subject, there should be an object, and there is a process to know. That is how things will work out. That's why it's called Triputi, 3 things. So I have given some examples here. One is Jnata, Jnanam, Gneyam. For example, in this case, let us take COVID-19. I don't know anything about COVID-19. So I want to know. So I am the knower. I am the jnata. And I want to know about the object COVID-19. That is jnayam, the object. And the way to know, there are many ways. One of them might be reading in newspapers or reading in articles in internet. But if I am an illiterate, that doesn't mean I cannot know. I can still know. Basically, maybe Pani or somebody else or Anand or some of my other friends can let me know what is COVID-19, and still I will come to know about this object. So there are various ways. So those various ways of knowing is jnanam, the process. So I am the jnata. COVID-19 is the jnayam, object of knowledge, and jnanam is the knowledge or the process through which I attain the knowledge about the object. Similar things are there for other various things. For anything, this is the way it is there. For example, if we are eating, let us say I am eating gulab jamun. I am eating the gulab jamun. I am the bhokta. I am enjoying the gulab jamun. I am the bhokta. Bhojyam is the gulab jamun. Basically, that is being enjoyed by me. And what do? I do bhojanam. I eat it. The process of eating is happening. Similarly, dhyatha, dhyanam, dhyayam. Dhyata might be a particular person, a rishi. He is dhyanam of Bhagavan. So Bhagavan is the dhyayam. He does dhyanam or meditation, and that rishi is doing that. So rishi becomes the subject, dhyata. Hear me? The host has muted all the. Okay, yeah. So another example is data, danam, deyam. Data means the person who is giving. Say Shibi Chakravarti. Shibi is giving. What is he giving? He is giving his mamsa kandam, his thighs muscle. He is giving that. So what is he doing? He is giving. He is donating or danam. He is giving. Giving is the process. What he is giving is the deyam, and the person who is giving is data. So like this, there are many more examples that we can keep on giving. The last one that I have put it here is pramata, that is the knower, and what he wants to know is prameyam, the known object. And pramanam is basically the way by which we know the prameyam or the object. So if you see the triangle there in the side, the right hand side, pramata, pramanam and prameyam are three sides of it. So similar to this, if we want to know Bhagavan, he becomes the prameyam and we are the pramata. And the way to know him is the pramanam. So what are the different types of processes by which we can know? Not Bhagavan, in general, anything for that matter. Let us see that. That is the next step. So the first way is called pratyaksha pramana. So we see by direct perception. So that doesn't mean only seeing. Pratyaksha, aksha means eyes, that's true, but pratyaksha literally in this case doesn't mean eye. It means anything which your sense can sense or any sense, not just eyes, ears, tongue, nose, skin, and even manas can sense things. So any direct perception comes under pratyaksha pramana. Eyes are used to see, visual perception. Ears are used for auditory perception. Tongue is used for taste perception, whereas through nose we get olfactory perceptions, and through touch, through skin we get the touch perception, and we get the mental perception by mind. So all these six are pratyaksha pramana only, and this is the general way in which we can directly perceive something. For example, if I see a person running, that means I'm seeing. If I see somebody asking for and cheering for help or asking for help, shouting for help, that is through my ears. If I taste gulab jamun, I'm getting to know that it is sweet because of my tongue. So all these are direct perceptions. This is one way of knowing, one of the process. So it's called pratyaksha pramana. Let us see the second one. The second one.
Oh, there.
Yes, Mohan.
There was a question in the chat. Is the screen being shared? Can everybody see the screen?
Yes, I'm
Yes,
able
we
to
are,
see.
Now, yes.
we are able to see.
Now,
Okay.
yes. Now, gone. Now, yes.
Okay. All right. Please do let us know if there is any such issue. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So now, I mean, I didn't change anything, Mahodaya, but still if it's going, I don't know what to do. Okay. Anyway, so the second, I mean, the second way of perception that we are going to see is Anumana Pramana or Anumiti. We can take it as Anumana Pramana, that is by inference. What we do, let us take one example here. A person sees smoke in the mountain, but he is not seeing any fire. He is just seeing the smoke. So the second step, what he does is, he has earlier seen somewhere smoke with the fire. So now he correlates that. He has already associated the smoke with the fire. So now he concludes in step 3 that there is fire in the mountain. And how is that? Because earlier he had seen, before this time, he had seen once, I mean, he had seen many times that always smoke was associated with fire. For example, maybe in his kitchen or Mahanasa. In his kitchen, he had seen, when he was cooking, he had seen smoke was always coming when there was fire. And when he goes to lake, he never saw the smoke. So by direct correlation and negative correlation, he comes to know smoke is only present if there is a fire. He has known it by pratyaksha earlier. Now that is the reason he can think of this step 2. He associates smoke with fire. And he concludes, definitely there should be fire in the mountain. Of course, there are many more things in this, but this is good enough for our purpose here. So this is called Anumana Pramana. By inference, even though the person has not directly seen the fire, he is able to deduce or infer that there is fire in the mountain. Let us see the third one. So basically, the step 1, he sees the smoke, he associates smoke with the fire, and then he infers that the mountain is on fire. The third one, that is called Shabda Pramana, or word of authority. What this means is, there are some rishis or seers who are able to tap into the cosmos and tune themselves and receive a part of the knowledge. Can you try to log out and come in? Okay, sorry. Yeah. So they have received the part of knowledge from the cosmos because of their sheer austerity, their tapas. What they are doing is basically they are tuning themselves like we tune the radio. So the frequencies we try to match with the station, and if Bhadravati station is giving at 600 megahertz, and if we tune to the 600 megahertz, that means we can tap that and listen to Bhadravati station, the songs that are played, the programs that are happening. Similarly, earlier days, the rishis were able to tap into the cosmos and tap the knowledge from the cosmos. Those things are called shrutis, what they tap from the cosmos. And this is considered as Shabda Pramana. Shabda Pramana should not be confused with the Pratyaksha Pramana of going through ears. We hear a lot of things from ears, like shouting or anything, but that is not considered as Shabda Pramana. Let us go ahead. So in Sanatana Dharma, we consider whatever I have put on the screen as the Shabda Pramana. So basically all the Vedas and its shakas. Like Shrutis, I have written on the left side, which comprises of Rig, Yajur, in Yajur, Krishna Yajur Veda, and Shukla Yajur Veda, and Sama Veda, and Atharvana Veda. What you see on the left side of that now is basically what is remaining. So in Shruti can be also divided into Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda. The Karma Kanda has 3 parts in it: Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka. The Jnana Kanda has Upanishads. And we know those Upanishads: Isha, Kena, Kata, Prashna, Munda, Mandukya, Titiri, Taitiri Upanishad. All these prominent 10 Upanishads, there are many more Upanishads. Apart from this, we have Smritis, Manusmriti, Parashara Smriti, Yajnavalkya Smriti. We have Dharma Sutras, Griha Sutras. We have Agamas, Vaishnava Agamas like Pancharatra, Vaikhanasa, Shaiva Agamas, Shakta Agamas. And we know Itihasas and Puranas, those are also part of the same Vedic corpus. And there are 6 Vedangas: Shiksha, Nirukta, Vyakarana, Chandas, Jyotishya, and Kalpasutras. And there are 4 Upavedas: Ayurveda, Dhanurveda, Arthashastra, Gandharva Veda, basically about singing. So I've listed all of them, but generally these will be, if you see the 18 Vidyasthanas, there are many I have listed here, but out of these, 18 are considered as Vidyasthanas because either you can club them together, some of them, or separate them, and you can take them as 18 Vidyasthanas. Once a person has mastered these 18 Vidyasthanas, and then if he writes a Bhashya, I mean Bhashya means a commentary, he will be called as a Bhashyakara. But principally, he need not write for all the whole Vedic corpus. If a person writes Bhashya for Upanishads, what is highlighted in the yellow, and in Itihasas, Mahabharata is there. In Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita part and the Uttara Mimamsa part of the Darshanas. There are 6 Darshanas: Purva Mimamsa, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, Yoga, and Uttara Mimamsa. Before getting along, I just want to share one thing here. We know in India there were many schools, even those which were not even accepting the Vedas. For example, the Charvakas do not accept any other pramana other than Pratyaksha. They say only those things which we can see, touch, or see, or test are the only ones we will agree as present. So something which is not perceivable by sense, they will not agree on that. So that is one school of thought. So obviously they don't believe in God as well, because it cannot be seen or perceived through senses. There is another school of thought like Purva Mimamsa, which believe in the Vedic corpus, but in that one there are 2 schools again. I mean, there are people who believe in the God, and there are people who say there is no need to believe in the God. So the karmas themselves will yield results. There is no reason for us to dwell upon the God. Can people hear me? I heard the voice is low.
Yeah, it's good.
So in Purva Mimamsa, sorry?
The voice is good.
The voice is clear, audible.
I think perhaps participants may use earplugs or such kind of things. Maybe that will enhance the audibility. Thank you.
Yeah. So in the Purva Mimamsa, if you are performing Jyotishtoma, that is good enough. You will get the Swarga. Jyotishtoma Swarga Kamo Ejeta. So if you do Jyotishtoma, you will get Swarga. Why you need to believe in Sriman Narayana? There's nothing. So that is one school of thought. But there are others in the Purva Mimamsa who say it is the Bhagavan who makes sure that we get the karma phala. So they do believe. There are 2 schools there. Anyway, we are not going to dwell upon it. So Uttara Mimamsa, there is a text called Brahma Sutra, which is basically aphorisms of or condensed form of Brahma Upanishads thoughts. So any commentator who comments on Upanishads, Uttara Mimamsa, there is Brahma Sutra and Bhagavad Gita, these 3 together are called Prasthanatraya. Prasthana Traya. Traya means 3. And if any commentator comments on all these 3, he will get the title as Bhashyakara. So we know Adi Shankaracharya has written on all the 3, and Madhva has also written all the 3 along with Rigveda Bhashya as well as Mahabharata Tatpara Nirnaya also. Whereas when we compare with Ramanuja school of thought, Ramanuja has written on Brahma Sutras and Bhagavad Gita, but still he is revered as Bhashyakara because even though he has not written on Bhashyas on or commentaries on the Upanishads individually, he has written Vedanta Sara, Vedanta Deepam, all these things which correspond to Upanishads, and he has quoted profusely from these Upanishads. So that is why he is also considered as Bhashyakara. Individually, he might have not gone and written the Bhashyas, but collectively he has written. Let us go to the next one. So this is the Shabda Pramana that we all agree upon, and why we should agree upon, let us see on that in the next few slides. What we are seeing now here is basically all of them are parallel straight lines, even though they don't appear so. Why don't they appear so? They don't appear so because of our imperfect senses. So all these lines are parallel, although they seem not to be so. Let us take another example. If you see this elephant, how many legs does this elephant have? Is it 5? Is it 4? So again, I mean, it's not a clear-cut answer because we do not have a perfect sense. We are unable to capture everything perfectly, any details for that matter. And all the scientific inventions that we are doing, for example, we have telescope because we cannot say very far away objects. We use binoculars, and if it's even more far, we use telescopes. What we are doing is we are making this sense perception better and better and more, perhaps more accurate. But that doesn't mean whatever we perceive is correct. We are making it better, but there is always scope for improvement. So just depending on direct perception is not a valid source for a perfect knowledge. I'm not saying it is not at all valid because we are leading our lives. We see if somebody is throwing stone, we dodge that stone and we survive. So we are able to survive. It's just that it might not give the perfect knowledge all the time. So because we possess imperfect senses, our eyes might fool us, our mind might fool us. This is one of the limitation of Pratyaksha Pramana. Let us see second one. See, we see illusions. We have tendency to be illusioned. For example, if we are going in a desert, we see this mirage. Even though it is not water, we assume it to be water. It's not there still. And even if somebody perhaps tells us it is not water, it's just a mirage, even then we perceive the same thing. We still feel there is water, but actually there is nothing. For example, one more thing. Let us assume a friend has come outside the door. I mean, somebody has come, or in childhood days, this used to happen with me. My father's bike used to come. As soon as it used to come, we used to know it is Kawasaki Bajaj and our father has come. But the problem is sometimes other Kawasaki Bajaj used to come and it is not my father. So here my ears are fooling me. I got illusioned because it was similar Kawasaki Bajaj sound. I thought that is my father or that is my friend. We do get into these kind of illusions. Let us take third example. We take painkillers. So when we take painkillers, we feel the pain has gone, but as soon as the effect of the painkiller has gone down, we feel the pain again. I mean, at that time, the painkiller had just subdued the pain that is sensed by our brain. But the main cause for the pain was still existing. That was never removed. Just treating the pain with a painkiller, once the painkiller's effect reduces, we again feel the pain. So for the temporary or for some reasons we get illusioned. So that is another limitation of pratyaksha pramana. Let us take one more example. There was a bubonic plague in Europe, and during the time, the scientists thought that the plague is spread because of cats, and they ordained all the cats to be killed. They did do that. Later on, after a few months, they came to know actually it is not the cat which was causing the plague; it was the rats. But by that time, because of lack of cats, the rats percentage population had increased heavily, and the plague was rampant. Why does this happen? Because we have tendency to commit mistakes. Another example is earlier days, brain was thought to be a radiator, which basically cools our body. But nowadays we know that is not the function of the brain. But that was the thinking. So we do commit mistakes. And third one, this is one more example of Piltdown Man. In 1912, some of the archaeologists excavated a part, and they found a jaw of this Piltdown Man, which was similar to apes. They used it to say this particular kind of persons have come from apes, and that was valid till 1953. Only in 1953 they came to know that it was a actually bogus or faked uh, fossil. It was not the real fossil. They had some people had just put it there just to make sure, just to deviate the scientific community. And in 1953 people came to know that. And we know the Rama Janmabhoomi case as well, in which we had found many archaeological evidences, but there were people who told these were stolen from a museum and kept here. We know that, and we know from Meenakshi Jain's and Supreme Court's order now that the museum piece that which they told was stolen is still in the museum only, which was never taken out. And this particular stone carving was actually related to Rama Janmabhoomi itself. But still, people spread this news and cheated the whole community. So we as humans have this tendency to cheat. Normal mortal beings have this tendency to cheat. So we cannot believe in pratyaksha pramana just because I saw this jaw which is similar to ape. I cannot think, yes, this particular species have come from ape. I cannot think so. I should not think so, because people might cheat me. So we have to have more and more filtering ways to avoid these kind of cheatings. So this is another limitation of pratyaksha pramana. Let us go to the next one. Let us list down all the limitations of pratyaksha pramana. One is we have imperfect senses: eyes, ears, tongue, teeth, skin. And we have a tendency to get illusioned. For example, mirage, painkillers, all those things. And we have a tendency to commit mistakes. We have just now seen two of those things done by scientists, not by normal populace, but by scientists themselves. And we know that we have a tendency to cheat. We are not completely sattvic people. So there is a tendency of people cheating us. Let us take this limping man. Why do you think he is limping? Similar to this, there were many people who discussed, the scholars who discussed among themselves. There were neurologists, there were orthopedicians who discussed, and they gave their own reasons for this limping man. They told maybe his toe was hurt, maybe his knee has got injured. One of the neurologists told that no, his brain wiring is not perfect. That is the reason he is walking like that. So there were many inferences which were taken by seeing the limping man. But actually, why he was limping is, in this particular case, was basically shoe or slipper was torn, is broken. So because he was searching for a cobbler, he was searching for a cobbler and was running around. to make sure that his footwear is rewoven properly. And that was the reason he was limping. But everybody, even the scholars or the experts of those fields, imagined or inferred their own inferences by seeing a limping man, saying his neurons are not proper, his chemicals are not wired properly, his bones are not aligned, his toe is damaged, he might have got hurt in the knee, something like that. But none of this was true. So this is one of the limitations I'm showing of Anumana Pramana. So just because we saw somebody limping, that doesn't mean he has to have a problem with his physical health or mental health. Need not be. It can just be a simple thing like his footwear is broken. So this is one of the limitations of Anumana Pramana. So what we are left with is Shabda Pramana now. Of course, there are other pramanas which are told as Upamana Pramana and all those things, but which can be clubbed under one of these three only. Let us see what are the positive of this Shabda Pramana. Shabda Pramana, even though we are hearing the sounds, but it is not put under Pratyaksha Pramana because it has a special feature. It is not just any Shabda. This Shabda has to come from an expert, and he should not have any ulterior motive. The only motive he would be having is to make sure that we are benefited. So we should be benefited, that is one. He should be an expert. For example, my mother, of course, wants my benefit all the time, but she is not knowledgeable in, say, trading. Okay, so she should not give me advice on how to trade, which stock I should trade, which mutual funds I should trade, or which derivatives I should trade. So even though she thinks of my benefit, she is not an expert in that. Let us take an expert like Harshad Mehta. Harshad Mehta, we know what he did. He was an expert in the equities, stocks, market, but he basically fooled everybody. He has his own intentions, his own ulterior motives. He wants to become rich and he doesn't care about others' benefit. So even he doesn't, his vakyas do not come under the purview of Shabda Pramana. But let us take Vyasa, for example, or Valmiki for that matter. Valmiki is saying Ramayana so that we can emulate Rama or ape Rama and follow the Dharma properly. If we follow, does Valmiki get anything? Absolutely nothing. So there is no ulterior motive. Is he an expert? Yes, of course he is an expert. He is an Adi Kavi. He is Kavi Kokila. So he was alive when Rama was present, and he saw Rama and then he started writing. So it is called Itihasa for that reason. Anyway, so in this case, Valmiki does not have any ulterior motive. Valmiki wants us to get benefited. Valmiki is an expert in poetry as well as writing something what he has seen. So his Vakya can be considered as Shabda Pramana. So regarding this Shabda Pramana, Nyaya Shastra speaks some stuffs that I have quoted there. Aptopadeshaha Shabdaha. Aptopadesha. Aptopadesha means, as I just now told, that the person who is telling me or instructing me to do a particular task should think of my benefit and he should be an expert. Once again, there is some chat message. Okay, thank you. I'll go fast. Thank you. There is another example that I have quoted there. So, Dhividau Drishta Adrishta Artatva means Drishta means that which is seen, Adrishta means that which is not seen. So, Shabdas or experts can give opinion. For example, a cardiologist can give opinion on my heart pain, and he wants me to get benefited and come out of the pain. So he is an expert in that case. A cardiologist, he's an expert. He wants my benefit. He has no ulterior motive. So I'll take his advice. That becomes Aptopadesha. Okay, but that is Drishta. I can feel the pain. I can see it. I can see perhaps somebody else is in the pain. The second one is unseen. For example, I'm suffering now with bad health or maybe for something else. Why am I suffering? Because I did no wrong. I have been living a moral and ethical living throughout my life. Still, why am I suffering like this? Now, who can give me this answer? A cardiologist cannot give. So we turn towards the seers. Mantra Drashtarshi, we turn towards the seers who can give us some answers for this. And those things are considered Shabda Pramana. So these, we already saw the Vedas and its Shakas here just before the Shabda Pramana. So these are Sanskrit things that we have listed here. Whatever we have listed here, these are all Sanskrit works. The Vedas, the Upavedas, the Vedangas, Ithyasas, Puranas, Darshanas, all of them. Whereas Visishta Advaita not only depends on these Vedas, it also depends on one more thing. That is, it depends on Tamil Marai. Marai means basically it means Tamil knowledge or Dravida Veda. We call it as Dravida Veda. I'll just narrate a small story. I know there is very less time, but let me just narrate a small story. There was a Rishi kind of person called Natha Muni around 8th century, 9th century AD. He was like a Rishi. As we have seen, Rishis, what they do severe penances, austerities, tune themselves to the cosmos, and then they receive the mantra through the cosmos. That is what is called as Shruti. Similar to that, this particular Rishi or Muni, Natha Muni, he once heard a particular verse of Tiruvamuli, 10 verses basically. In those particular verses, he got enchanted, he got engrossed, and he thought, what a superb knowledge this has. But in those 10 pashuras or poems, the last pashura I told, those who know these 1000 pashuras, these 10 pashuras out of 1000 will get benefited. So now he understood that there are not just 10 pashuras which these people sung, this is just 10 out of 1000. So he went to those people who are singing that. He asked them, can I get those 1000 pashuras, 1000 poems? Pashura means poems, but basically these are Tamil poems. But those people didn't know about those 1000 pashuras. They told no, but we can guide you to get that. They told there is a particular family from Madurakavi. You can get in touch with that family and they might help you. He went in search of them. He found their village. He found their family. He went and spoke to them. He asked, can you give me those 1000 poems, Tamil poems? They told, we don't know of 1000 poems. We know of only on those. There are 7 more poems. They gave those 7 poems. They told, we know only these 7 poems and nothing more. Or 7 stanzas of a poem. 7 stanzas they gave. So what Natha Muni did, and those family members told Natha Muni that you can go and meditate on these 7 stanzas of poem, and you will receive the 1000 pashuras, 1000 poems. So as instructed, Natha Muni went and he did tapas or austerity and penance. For 12,000 times he chanted Kanan Shiruttambu, that is 7 stanzas of a poem, for 12,000 times. Once he had done that, he got not just 1000 pashuras, he got 4,000 pashuras. These 4,000 pashuras are termed in Sampradaya as Nalayira Divya Prabandham. Nalayiram means, in Tamil it means 4,000 in English. Divya means divine. Prabandham means basically poems in this particular case. So Nalayira Divya Prabandham. Even though he was searching for 1000, his guru who appeared in front of him told him, not just 1000, I will give you 3,000 more. So he gave 4,000 poems to Natha Muni. And later on, Natha Muni introduced these into Srirangam temple in a particular way, in Arayar Seva, in a dramatic way. But in Srirangam temple, it was already there in a different way, as a singing way, started by Tirumangai Alvar. We will see more about Alvars and Acharyas tomorrow, but for today, we'll just take this much into account. So Natha Muni, after getting this, he gave this knowledge to his disciples, and that's how we got these 4,000 Divya Prabandhas, 4000 Divya Prabandham, Tamil Marai or Tamil Vedam or Dravida Vedam. It's called Dravida Vedam. So let us see some of the similarities between Sanskrit Veda and Tamil Marai. In Taittiriya Upanishad, we see there is a statement saying Annam Brahmeti Vijana. Similarly, for the same meaning, okay, is given by Unnum Shoru, Parugum Neer, Tinnum Vethilayum, Yavum Kannan Emberuman, sung by Nammalva in Tiruvamuli. Basically, what it means is whatever I'm consuming is also Bhagavan or Brahman itself. Unnum Shoru, Shoru means food, Parugum Neer, the water that I consume. Unnum Shor, Paragum Neer, Tinnum Vetile. Vetile means beetle leaves that I consume. All of them, that means everything that is being consumed are Brahman itself. There is one more Anandavalli dictum, Yato Vacha Nivartante Aprapya Manasasaha. Basically, it means even the Manas cannot go and think of this Parabrahman. It goes and it returns back without attaining what it can. I mean, without attaining the Brahman, because it cannot attain it. That's what it means. Yato vacha nivartante. Neither the sound nor the watch means the words. Neither the words nor the manas. None of them can get near the Brahman. Similarly, we have a similar statement in Tiruvamuli. I know the time is less. I'll just go through. We have similar statements of Chandogya Upanishad. Tattvamasi is coming as Nan Kandukonde Narayana Namam in Periya Tirumali, that is by Tirumangayalvar. And we know Trini Pada Vichakrame Vishnur Gopaya Adhabhyaha. It's basically about Vamanavatara, and that is also being sung by Nammalvar. And Mahanarana Upanishad Vakyam, I have translated that particular Vakyam in English. The imperceptibility of Paramatma to human faculties is explained in Mahanarana Upanishad and Shveta Shvetra Upanishad as well as Kathopanishad. So basically, we cannot see or sense through our senses, and that is clearly explained by in Tiruvamali as well. Kangal Kandrava Ariyanai Katkillai Kanalum Agan. He cannot be seen by the Kan. Of course, there are few more Pashuras and there are many such things. But basically, I wanted to show whatever is told in Sanskrita Veda regarding the Upanishadic thoughts can also be found in the Tamil Marai. So it is called, that's why it's called Dravida Veda or Dravida Vedanta, Dravida Upanishad. It's called as Dravida Upanishad as well, because whatever there is in Upanishad, that is there in this part also. And what is the advantage of this Divya Prabandham or these 4,000 Nalayar Divya Prabandhams or Tamil Marai? They are straight to the point. There is no ambiguity. They don't talk about Agni, Vayu and all and then say it is Antaryami is Brahman. They straight, this is Brahman. So straight to the point, no ambiguity. That is the advantage of that. And it is filled with rasa anubhava. It is not just like the dry philosophy, but it is filled with rasa, like poetry. It is poetry. And it deals mainly with the subject of Brahman or attaining Brahman. It either instructs us how we should behave, or it talks about the Emberman. I mean, it talks about the Bhagavan. And the advantage is, for a Vedas, we know there are some restrictions. Some people can sing, some people cannot sing. Whereas for Dravida Upanishad, there is no such restrictions. Anybody can sing. Not just anybody, it's better if everybody sings. And it is chanted with generally whenever the position of the Lord goes in the temple, in the prakarams, we can see that Nalayar Divya Prabandham is chanted in front, whereas Sanskrit Veda is chanted backward, in the back side of the God. We will see that why in tomorrow's class perhaps. But there is no restriction who can sing, who cannot sing. Anybody and everybody can sing this Dravida Upanishad. This is the way Visishta Advaitians attribute Dravida Upanishad. Basically, Nammalvar's Tiruvamali is considered as the Samaveda itself. as Sama has 1,000 shakas, Namalva's Tiruvamali also has more than 1,000 pashuras. So it is considered equivalent to Namalvar's Tiruvamali. Samaveda is considered equivalent to Namalvar's Tiruvamali, or Namalvar's Tiruvamali is considered equivalent to Samavedam. Similarly, we have Vedangas, which are considered equal to Tirumangalvar's Periya Tirumuli, Tirugurun Tandagam, Tirunaran Tandagam, and we have Rigvedam, Yajurvedam, which are associated with other works of Nammalva. What we are seeing now is basically done by Deshika. Deshika has given a one-to-one correspondence saying what is what should be considered as what, after going through all the Dravida Upanishads and all the Vedas and its shakas. So, what is the unique selling point of Visishta Advaita? So, the basis of Visishta Advaita is not just Samskrita Veda, it also includes Dravida Veda. And anybody can follow, there is no Varna restrictions like sannyasis only can get mukti, nothing like that. Anybody can get mukti. Any ashrama fellows can follow it. Any life form can get into Visishta Advaita. It need not be only humans. Even we can see tomorrow's story when we are going to see, we see that even elephant can become a Visishta, can become a Sri Vaishnava. So anybody, in any life form, they can follow Visishta Advaita or Sri Vaishnavism. And Visishta Advaita gives importance for the whole Vedic corpus. It is not like I will select only a part of Vedic corpus, say only Upanishad thoughts, but I will reject the Purva Mimamsa. No, it doesn't say so. Or maybe I will not give so much of credit for Ramayana because anyway it is Itihasa, written by Valmiki. No, actually Ramayana is given very high credit in Sri Vaishnavism, and it is considered as Sharanagati Shastram. Perhaps if we have time, we are going to dwell upon it, otherwise we are not. But what I'm trying to say is the whole Vedic corpus is given importance, or not just bits and pieces. So that is the unique selling point of Visishta Advaita. I know I have crossed the time. Sorry for that. If there is any doubt, you can go ahead. Otherwise, this is the next is just a reference. Any doubts I would like to clarify. And here I have put all the Vedic corpus, including Pancharatra Agama and Vaikasana Agama. Why these Agamas are important, we'll see in the tomorrow's class when we are speaking about Bhagavan's Gunas. Any doubts on today's class, please, you can raise it now.
Okay, so we'll spare a few minutes. We'll try and finish perhaps by 8 o'clock every day, but please do spare a few more minutes beyond 8 o'clock in case, because such topics are always important for us to listen to in detail instead of the speaker rushing through. So yeah, maybe we'll spare a few minutes if you have any questions. We have a couple of comments saying it was an excellent presentation. Well done, Seshagiri ji. So I think today being the introductory session, what you're promising is that tomorrow onwards you will actually be talking about Visishta Advaita itself. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Perhaps you can just stop sharing the screen so we can see the participants. And then if anybody has any questions, they can ask. Okay, Akhil's saying, can we get the PPT of today's session? Are you okay with that, Seshagiri?
I have no problem, sir.
Okay, sure. So those interested may actually provide their email IDs through WhatsApp, and we can share the slides. In fact, we can also put today's session on YouTube if anybody is willing to go through it again. All right, perhaps Seshagiri, I have one question. It seems like Visishta Advaita offers a lot of very true, it's very true to Vedas, as you say, it incorporates everything about Veda. And but at the same time, it has the tradition of Tamil Dravida Veda, as you called it. So historically, do they both have to be, were they both required in coming up in the Visishta Advaita what should I say, formulation, or was Tamil translation of the Sanskrit Vedas, and which way? What is the relation?
Basically, from Sanskrit Veda, when the Brahma Sutra was written, that time itself, Bodhayana has written a Vritti Grantha on that. So, it is nothing new as such now, because when Vedavyasa wrote, at that time itself, Bodhayana has written Vritti. That's like a Tika Grantha. Or and it's not a proper commentary, but it's a Tika Grantha. And apart from Bodhayana, Tanka, Dramida, and other rishis have already spoken of these things. It is nothing new. And in Brahma Sutra Bhashya of Ramanuja, he quotes and he says it is based on Purvacharya's path that he is going to explain these Brahma Sutra Vakyas. So it is nothing new. And at that time, of course, Bodhayana and Tanka, Dramida, they were not influenced by Tamil Dravida Vedas, because they were not nowhere near the Tamil Nadu or Dravida regions. But they had this thought. But the advantage of knowing Tamil Marai is many times, because Sanskrit is a malleable and ductile language, you can interpret in some other way as well sometimes. Without the context, without knowing the context, you can just take one vakya and you can delineate it to any proportions, because it's very malleable language. Whereas in Tamil, the probability of that one is very less, and it's very straight to the point. It just sings a song about a particular deity or a particular stuff that he wants to sing. It becomes more unambiguous. So perhaps I'll give one more example tomorrow in a Ramanuja story about Chandogya Upanishad Vakyam, where Ramanuja was able to decipher that meaning of the Chandogya Vakyam because of Alvar's Ukti, Alvar's statement. He exactly translates it into Sanskrit and gives his opinion to Yadava Prakasha. We are going to see that perhaps tomorrow.
Okay.
And that is the reason it becomes more unambiguous. With the help of this, it becomes unambiguous. So it is two eyes of the same thing. It is saying the same thing. It is seeing the same thing. It is talking about the same thing. Maybe with one eye, if it's dusty or some dust falls, you might close it and you might lose the vision. But because you have both the eyes, it becomes more clear and more unambiguous. That's the advantage.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay, so our effort is to make everybody be interested in Sanatana Dharma and learn a lot more. So we really hope that this ignites a passion in all of us to go back to reading, picking up at least one scripture at a time, and also finding a guru for ourselves. Whatever we may do, at least a good idea would be to help ourselves to understand Sanatana Dharma better. That is it. And perhaps, okay, there's one more comment here. Can you please explain in English or Telugu, mainly in day-to-day words? I don't know Tamil. Can you kindly say what you mean by that? I think Seshagiri ji was just referring to the original text, but his presentation will be in English as much as he can present. Okay, all right. Perhaps today we'll draw things to a close. Tomorrow we'll meet up again at 7 o'clock. Seshagiri ji, perhaps you may just do a Mangala closing, something Shanti Mantram or something like that. Seshagiri ji?
Yeah, one second. I'll just Mangala Shasanapade Madachara Barogamai Sarvaischa Purvai Acharya Satkritayastu Mangalam. Thank you, Swami.
Awesome. We'll meet tomorrow again. Thank you so much for joining in. All right, see you
Sorry
tomorrow.
for the delay. Sorry for the delay. From tomorrow, I'll make it lesser.
Sure, no issues. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.